Welcome to another neXup podcast. I am your host, PC747, and this is actually my third official podcast. I did four total. I want to say if you want Google or iTunes, you will see that it will come up as number 3. So I'm celebrating a couple of milestones right now. And this is 1 year since I've just actually created the neXup. And when I started a year ago, it was just an idea. Pretty much, I was a part of a forum. And it's still there today, but I just had this idea that I really wanted to, create something, build my own site and really build something, build a brand, around mainly smartphones, but, the uniqueness of me, because I'm someone who loves sports, I love gadgets, I enjoy these comic book action movies, I'm just someone who is, dynamic in a lot of things, I don't quite fit into one box, And yeah, I wanted the ability to kind of express that in both in writing, something I enjoy doing, and then eventually into podcasting, which I'm doing right now. And I actually have a group, of people like me who, looking to build stuff that, we have like a little group chat that we do, and we were sitting around talking about it, and one of them reminded me that, about a couple of years ago, around this time, I was talking about wanting to do a podcast, and I'm like, I forgot about that. And, I made a couple of attempts. One show I did with Drone Wolf Media, we did Knuckle Up, and pretty much it was similar to this, where we try to do like our own YouTube channel, but, through a number of things being, just timing with me having a lot going on with work and projects, him trying to get a business going. It's just a lot of things. Just for whatever reason, we had a couple shows, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't work out, and I'm mainly to blame for that. And that it's just, I was trying to do too much, and I probably should have done a better job planning and sitting down with them. There's a lot of things I've kind of learned through that experience, and to this day I still talk with Drone Wolf, and I appreciate a lot of help he's provided, a lot of influences, and continue to talk with him through tech. In fact, he got his own little business going, Drone Wolf Media, which is pretty much he uses drones to capture footage, and he's been able to captures a lot of good footage that's been used in some publications on TV, and hopefully he get as big as where his footage makes it to the movie theaters or Netflix or something like that. So yeah, I'm just personally am joy to be able to do this and put this up and create content, and hopefully as I continue to do it more, I continue to get better, I continue to grow with it, improve, and learn from just week to week. Like I do take the time to study my videos, study my podcasts from the previous weeks, and learn the mistakes I made, and then hope to kind of improve on that. There are a couple of things I look back on, especially the past couple of shows where, I said one thing or meant to say another thing, but I know that's part of growing, and one of the challenges I know I'm going through right now is just kind of figuring out, the setup. And right now I have a MacBook, and, I am big in Apple computers, mainly because of the simple fact of their longevity. I had this MacBook since, I want to say 2011, and the thing is still going. It's still doing good, no slowdowns or anything. But one of the things I am, running into problems with is just Mac OS software and utilizing different streaming apps, whether it be OBS or Streamlab OBS. It's just, a lot of programs out there just seem not to be as compatible with Mac OS. So it looks like I'm going to go out there and invest into a Windows computer. I know a chagrin Drone Wolf if he actually listened to this podcast when I put it up. Because, when we were doing the Knuckleheads Talking Tech, one of the things he brought up, like, man, you need to get rid of that Mac OS and come over to Windows. And man, like, there's no way I'm going to Windows. I'm staying right here. So, if you happen to listen to it, you win on this one. I'm going to have to go over and buy me a Windows computer. So that would be the game plan, for, right now, first thing first is I'm so close to paying off my debt, my student loan, that I could be debt-free and, do the debt-free screen for those who are listeners of the Dave Ramsey thing. So I'll be there. And once that is done, then, the next thing is to go ahead and invest in a computer. So, that would be the next plan right there. But let's go ahead and get started. Now, when I was coming up with the show, I had a number of topics in my head. I was like, man, I'm going to go here, and I had, something I want to talk about Amazon and kind of where they're going now, and then, just a number of things. I even had like one topic where I was going to rank my top phone manufacturers, which I'm going to save that for a future show because, yeah, something big dropped. If you're big in Android, I'm pretty sure you heard about it by now. Android Q. Yeah. So the day before, I actually put up on my blog, what I wanted to see in Android Q. And there were just a couple of things. Things I really wanted was a theme manager. And the reason why was, well, I said it before, it's long overdue that we have this built into stock Android. Samsung have it in their system, HTC, even OnePlus have a theme manager or some form of it where you can find some way to change the icons, theme it up a little bit. So it needs to be baked in the stock Android. It's long overdue. We need it. The other thing I said I wanted to see was an improvement to the messaging app. When it comes to messaging, especially text messaging, multimedia messaging, Apple has it. They got the game down. iMessages, it's just that much better. As much as I talk to Apple friends who have the iPhone and, we go back and forth, I gotta give it to them. When it comes to group messaging or anything like that, iMessage just handles it way better. It handles it as far as the whole organization, is how it performs. It's just a much better messaging app. And I'm like, okay, Google, we have to get a better messaging app. Now, one of the benefits of being on Android is being able to utilize third-party apps. And you have a lot of that stuff that comes with iMessaging built into your third-party apps, whether it be HandSent, Chomp. There are just a number of apps out there, but it's like, okay, it's nice that we got these third-party apps that have this, but we really need this baked into stock Android. It should be. It's long overdue. I was sitting there talking to a coworker, and I was sitting there talking about the stock Google Messaging app. And one of the things, I have to admit, it's boring. It's boring. And, when he asked me, what is the benefits of the current Google Messaging app over what I have now? Because he got his phone through Verizon, and the Verizon messaging app just looked better. And really, that's what it came down to. Like, I really can't give you much except for the simple fact that, you can, do messaging in the web where you can pretty much now, if you got a computer or a laptop or even a Chromebook, you can go into message.android.com and you can pretty much respond to text messaging that way, which, I would talk about later why that's a very beneficial addition. But other than that, I really couldn't give him much. In fact, you're like, well, I just stick with this for now. And whenever I need to talk to someone over my computer, I just switch to the Google Messenger when I do that. And you know what? I really couldn't blame them. And so that really is something I wanted to see Google improve, is the messaging app. Now, they've come a long way with their messaging app. It's gotten better. I like the ability to be able to change to dark mode. And like I said before, I like to be that you can actually use messaging for web. And if you haven't used it, it actually come in handy, especially if you're someone who use their phone for work, which actually I do. So what Messages for Web do literally is that, you can just take your phone, scan a QR code, and it pops up all your text messaging app on your computer. And where it comes in handy is, if you're someone who utilize your phone for work, which I do, instead of having to grab your phone and type on it, I'm already on my computer, and a lot of the stuff I'm doing, whether it be talking to clients or gathering pictures from clients or whatever, it's already been done on that computer. So instead of having to grab my phone, let's say, for example, they send me a picture. Before, messaging for web, I would have to grab the phone, take the picture they sent me, download it, save it, send it to myself, and then download it again on my computer. It's just extra steps that I would have to do, where now it's already on my computer. So literally, I can go to the message that they sent me, the picture, and hit download. It downloads straight to my computer. And then from there, if I need to send an email out or whatever I need to do, I can do that from there. And it made it so much more convenient for just everyday usage. So yeah, I mean, it's come a long way, but it still need to continue to evolve to get more and more like iMessage. I want to see it evolve to a point where it gets better than that. The other thing I expect to see in the new Android Q was something built for these folding phones. Right now that's the way to go. It's obviously the future, and I'm sure Google's going to want to see how far they can go with it, and they're going to need to get their software ready for these phones to perform very well. The last two things was I want to see or expect to see would be something geared towards Chrome OS. I felt that Google was embarrassed with the Pixel Slate. A lot of people talked about its performance or lack thereof, and yeah, for a Chrome tablet where the lowest selling tablet is going for $600, and the bossed out model was going for $1,600. Yeah, a lot of people who used that in reviews said it do not perform like anything worth the price it's asking for. And yeah, so that's something that I thought, okay, Google would have seen and would have been preparing their software to make sure it performs better. And last was 5G. With 5G coming on board, they're going to want their software to pretty much be ready to go for just that, making sure it performs like it's supposed to and get ready for 5G. So, yeah, so I had just put that up, I want to say on the 11th, and a day later, a day or two later, Google drops the developer preview for Android Q. Now, for those who are not familiar with a developer preview, it's pretty much that. It allows those developers, and really it's for fans. Let's keep it real. It is for developers, but it's really for fans. It allows us to get a sneak preview of what to expect of the next version of Android. And they know what's going to happen. They know Android nerds going to download it. They're going to tear it apart, look for every little bit of clue about what's coming next, what to expect, what's new in Android, and go from there. And that's basically what happened. We got Android Q Beta 1 dropped, and if you have a Pixel phone, you were able to download and install it. And that's what I did on my Pixel 1. Now, I actually started to download on my Pixel 3 XL, and this is a rule I kind of always have when it comes to anything, when it comes to beta software, is that, you never should really put on your daily driver. And even though I use my OnePlus 6 as my daily driver, I do use my Pixel 3 XL as like a work phone. So it's like a daily driver, but like a daily driver backup, mainly just used for that work. And so because of that, I still needed to be stable and working fine. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and just use it, or download on my Pixel. Because my Pixel 1 that just sit as pretty much as a glorified alarm clock, it's just sitting there. So why not drop it on that and play around with it? Because anyone who's interested in any beta software, just know that when you download it, it's going to have bugs, it's going to have issues. It's a beta 1, that's part of the game. And those that have been rhyming for a while, who've been around and played with nightlies or stuff like that, we know that. So yeah, I downloaded on my Pixel 1 and played around with it. There are just a couple of things that, Google actually highlighted that is a big feature or to come with Q. And one of the big things will be privacy. They want to go ahead and make privacy a top priority. And it's understood because right now Facebook is in the news and top center, for their privacy issues. And people have been complaining about it. So of course, and Google as well have been, have shots fired towards them because of privacy concerns. And one of the things that makes sense is to highlight that, and they're going to improve that with this new software. And that's pretty much one of the things that they're trying to give people more control over, such as would have access to your location, would have access to different parts of your device, software or hardware. So yeah, it actually makes it clearer what apps are utilizing what. So, there's some software that really don't need access to your location or personal data. And you now have more control over that. And that's kind of what they're trying to do with this, is fix that. And we're starting to see that. Another thing, like I said, these foldable phones are a big thing. And Google understands that. And yeah, right now, they got that popped out on Q. So they said they understand that these foldable phones are coming out and they are ready to go. And in Android Q, they're introducing what they call an on resume and on pause, and it's a way to kind of support the multi displays, or when you're going from one display in fold mode to full screen mode, or when you're utilizing multiple displays in there, whether it be picture in picture or so on. Yeah, it will be able to support that much better. Another thing they fix or improve is sharing. So if any of you guys, had a picture or something you want to share or article, I think we all been there. We want to share with someone, you go to hit the share button, and it just seems like it takes forever to get that to share. I mean, I've noticed that. It's to the point now I don't even use the share button. I just sit there, copy and the clipboard and just send it or wherever I'm doing because it's so buggy. Well, Google understood that and they fixed that. And yeah, that's one of the other things they're kind of making sure to be of highlight in their software. And yeah, over the past couple of days, people just been tearing this build apart and digging into it. Android police released an article of things they found, that I didn't even recognize or I wasn't paying attention to, until I went back in there again. And one thing was I was talking about how I wanted to see Google throw in a theme engine. Now, I'm not getting a full theme engine like I wanted to, but at least they're sort of kind of getting there. If you go into developer options, you can go in there and change your accent colors and font colors to give you 4 different options. Matter of fact, let me grab my phone right here and go into developer options so I can show you myself. But yeah, you have several different options. I believe it was blue, or correction, stock was the option. Let me go ahead and go back in here real quick. Advanced developer options. Let me scroll down to where did I see it? So, all right. And those of you who are looking to jump on it, you got to have developer options selected. And keep scrolling down. It's past networking, past input, past drawing. I want to say it's past apps too. Yep, past autofill. And if you scroll, it's really at the very, very bottom. And you're going to see theming. And if you click on that, it gives you the option between device default, as far as your accent color, black, green, and purple. And green is like almost like the stock old school green. It seems like the old school Android green. And the purple is more of you may want to call it the Thanos purple. And black is just that, black and white. So I'm going ahead and left it at default, which is the blue because I have the dark theme on. And if you scroll down a little bit further or under the accent, you see headline and body font. And you have a choice between device default, Noto Serif, and Source Sans Pro. And I'm pretty sure, well, I ain't going to say pretty sure, but hopefully in the future they give you more options for the fonts that you can choose. And then they moved your icon shape here. And this is where you got device default, teardrops, squircle, and rounded rectangle. Now, those of you utilizing Android P and below, you can actually change your icon font by just long pressing and going to home settings, and you will see it there. But it looks like, I guess, Google is moving that for right now for Q. And this, like I said, this is beta 1, so I've seen things in beta 1 that ended up not making it to the final build. So for right now, they're moving that to developer options. And honestly, I don't see that staying there. At best, I see what they're going to do with that is move that to display options. But to put it into a developer option, like you taking that away from the standard user, where they was always able to make that change before, I don't see Google one. Well, I said I don't see that, but hopefully they don't do that. Hopefully they kind of don't take that away. Even though majority of their users don't utilize that option anyway, still, it should still be available. Another thing that I saw in there, and this was actually pointed out, well, at least I saw it first on 9 to 5 Google, and that's the ability to do screen recording. So in order to do that, you actually got to go to develop option, scroll down to flags and turn that on. And once you go there or click on flags, it gives you where you can turn on. Let me go back to that spot. So let me scroll back down. It pass input, pass drawing, pass hardware accelerator rendering, media monitoring, apps, autofill. Actually, let me go back up. Let's see, apps, monitoring. Let's see. Feature flags. So it's actually right just above networking. You will see feature flags. And here you will have a couple of flags that you can turn on. Now, by default, they have audio switcher, which actually someone actually did talk about that it's built into where you can switch your audio source. Now, I actually have that native to my OnePlus 6T, where if I'm listening to something, I can actually click the volume button, hit media output, and I can switch on the fly from one Bluetooth headset to another or to speaker or so on. So it looks like Google to make that an option or possibly make that an option for Android Q. And then under that, you got setting Bluetooth hearing aid. That's all by default. I'm pretty sure that's going to be something for, an option for Q coming forward for the hearing impaired. And then you got dynamic homepage that is set on. See global action grid enabled. That's all by default. You got mainline module, mobile network V2, mobile network internet V2, setting safety hub, setting screenshot long press. Now, if you turn that on, that would allow you to turn on screen record. I said setting screen record long press. Turn that on, and that would allow you to turn on screen record. Now, let me go ahead and continue on with it's available through feature flags for right now. It's like setting seamless transfer, setting slice injection, setting system UI theme, settings Wi-Fi DPP, settings Wi-Fi Mac randomizer, settings Wi-Fi sharing. Now, real quick, before I go ahead and go back and talking about that screen recorder, because I did see someone talk about something about the ability to now, or Android Q is allowing you to have a better choice selection when it comes to if you're utilizing dual SIM cards. In other words, you can change your SIM on the fly. With the Pixel phones, it is if you get the stock version, it is a dual SIM device. Particular if you use the let's say your carrier SIM as your inboard SIM, and then as your eSIM, you can use Project Fi. It's just switching back and forth. It's not as easy as it should be. So yes, it looks like they're going to make it a little bit more easier to make that happen. But back to the screen recorder. So once you turn that flag on, if you hold the power button, you will get your options for power off, restart, screenshot, and emergency. If you press and hold screenshot, you will get screen recording. Now, on my system, because I have the black theme, it seems like there's two options that are blacked out. And the two options that are blacked out, or not there where you can see it, is the ability to record and show taps. And by record, I mean record voiceover. So if you capture your screen recording, if you check that, it will also record your voice. As well as if you hit show taps, it will show what you tap on. Now, this is something that's I hope they actually build into the stock system, because when I go to show off how to do videos, a couple of times I do utilize, or was trying to use a screen recording app, and that app was Screen Recorder. But as of late, for whatever reason, it just hasn't been working. So yeah, I hope they build this into stock Android Q, because it do have a purpose there. So continuing on, let's see what else that people highlighted that they saw. This is from 9 to 5 Google. They say they noticed that notifications can only be swiped away to the right. And if you try to go to the left, it only shows actions that you can do there. And what else? So we still have ways to go before we get the final build. And it looks like Google is, listening and learning from a lot of things they've done with past software. They're preparing a way, because I actually did on that blog, one of the things they also talked about with Q, understanding that they're ushering a new era with 5G being away, and they know the folding phones are the thing. So they definitely want to be prepared and ready for that. And it looks like this software will do that. So, yeah, it's looking like, Android Q is here. And, there are a number of sites that are going to, tear it apart. There are a lot of video on YouTube that, are showing you what they have saw or have found in Android Q software. And if you got a Pixel phone, you're going to see it pretty soon. And hopefully OnePlus, stick to their guns and continue the software updates as, timely as they've been doing so far. 'Cause I've been giving them kudos for that. At least with my OnePlus 6T, they've been on par or game on when it comes with these software updates. So, yeah, I will call them out if, things changes, especially when we got the OnePlus 7 on the horizon. They decide to do like other companies out there that when a new phone get out there, they kind of have this mindset of abandoning the old one. Then, yeah, I will let, people know when it comes to that. But for right now, I look forward to when we get the brand new Android Q as far as brought to everyone to download. Now, everyone trying to kind of guess the name of the Q or what's going to be the code name, and anyone who knows when it comes to Android software is named after dessert. And I couldn't think of any real dessert that's popular that started with a Q. So I'm going with Quick, and Quick, why? Because of Nestle Quick, Now, I know that's not really a dessert, but, if you were a kid in the, 80s and 90s, you remember that little syrup or the powder that you mixed in with your milk and you had chocolate milk. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it, for right now, I'm calling Android Q as Android Quick, and maybe it may become the new name for it. We'll have to see. But before I get out of here, because the big talk for today was mainly going to be about Android Q, another story broke. And, this came from 9 to 5 Google, and it was talking about Google, it's pulling away from, development of laptops and tablets, in particular the Pixelbook and the Chrome OS tablet. And I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. The Pixelbook is actually a good Chrome tablet. Chrome OS have come a long way. I've talked about how good of a job that Google have done with it. For the most part, I have a Chromebook Plus right now that I'm utilizing to pull up information while I'm recording on my MacBook Pro. I love my Chromebook, but at the end of the day, it's not an all-to device. In other words, it's not a device that I can use to do everything. It's mainly meant for that, surfing the web or doing minor things. It's not a full operating system computer, and because of that, I could not justify or anybody paying over $600 for a Chromebook. Because of the simple fact that, there's no way that, and I'm not going to tell someone what to do with their money, but there's no way I can see myself paying that much money for a Chromebook because I know where Chrome OS is at. And Google's still having problems with the integration between Chrome and their app, or Google Apps. And they tried utilizing, and they're still working on it, utilizing Android to facilitate those apps. And it's still a work in progress. But we know it's a problem, because we're seeing out there that these Chrome tablets are coming out there as a new way of introducing, or another way of introducing Chrome to the public, and they're just not performing like or having the same type of buzz and feel as these Chromebooks are. And the reason why, because, Chrome is just not ready for tablet mode. It's not. And Google haven't done a good enough job to make it ready. And the Pixel Slate just kind of proved that, it showed that, and this is where we at with Chrome. And until they fix Chrome OS till it's tablet ready, it's not going to be something that's worth a tablet for. But as far as a Pixelbook, yeah, it's a good device, but there are a number of alternatives out there that performs just as well for the price, considering. When the Pixelbook first came out, I said, I know a Samsung Chromebook Plus that's what, $500-$600 cheaper, and it performs just as well, in my opinion, for a Chromebook. Now, I know the Pixelbook has a better display, has a better processor, but for going on the web and doing what you need to do, the Chromebook Plus do what you need to do for it. As far as video editing, I did put up a video that you can do video editing on a Chromebook, but at the end of the day, that's not going to be the ideal choice. People are going to want to utilize something like Adobe or the built-in. If you got an Apple computer, you're going to want to use Final Cut Pro. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to say that Power Director for a Chromebook is on par with those other two apps. I can't. Now, if you're someone who, on a budget and all you have is a Chromebook and you're trying to build something, you're trying to develop something, you're trying to create content, and that's all you have, you can utilize it. But just know, for those who have the other option out there, for those who do have a MacBook, they're not going to want to choose that, especially not every day when they have Final Cut Pro as the option. So, yeah, with a Pixelbook, it's just as good of a device it wasn't worth the price, and Google could not continue to put out a device at that price because, yeah, people wasn't buying it. Not enough people anyway. People looked at it like, okay, looks nice. What you got as an alternative? Oh, that $400 tab, I'll take that one. HP over there, the HP Chromebook X2, I'll take that one, or something else. In fact, if any device out there, I say that sort of works, I say did the best job of being better than the Slate, it would be that, because you had a full style keyboard. It was designed to be more like a laptop, but you can pull it apart and use it as a tablet. Even though I've had criticized the top part of being really heavy, it's still a better option price-wise than what you have for the Chrome tablet. And then when you go to the Pixel Slate, like I said, the Chrome tablet, we know it just wasn't performing like it, Google had hoped. There's no one pitching that. There's no one telling people to go out there and buy the Pixel Slate. Those that had the opportunity to play around with it and test it, majority of people said the same thing. No. No. And yeah, and I understand why. It's just too expensive or too much money to put there when there are better options out there. So Google is having to rethink this, rethink where they're going to go. And, in a way, I hope they learn from this, the lesson which needs to be learned. And that is stop going down these roads half-cocked, go all out. And I feel that's the problem with Google. And I've said in my last podcast, they go in halfway. They kind of, they have a great idea, but they don't really see it through like they should. They don't throw everything at it. I feel like it's like you're not putting your best effort, and we're starting to see that in these devices out here, where we see, okay, Google, it got so much potential. It's there. It could really just blow the top off, but you holding back something. You could do just a little bit more, and that's where Google's really hanging up right now. And yeah, as we get to the point where we got these folding phones coming out, I want to see Google throw their hat in the ring, and I want to see Google dominate this area because they can. This is another shot at them to get this tablet market right, or build a new market and dominate here. They're going to build the software for it. They're going to have the hardware partners, and hopefully they learn from the mistakes that they made with the Pixelbook and the Pixel Slate, where it just wasn't enough. Now, like I said, the Pixelbook they did a good job with. Like I said, the problem with the Pixelbook was it was just priced too much, and with the Slate, we know it just wasn't where it needs to be, mainly because the software was a problem. But here you got Android, and Android, as far as software, is getting better. It's probably the best we've ever seen as far as Android when it comes to software ever, and it's continuing to improve. As far as pure stock Android. Like I said, there are things I want to see them add. I really think they need to add. Like I said, theme manager, stuff like that. But it is the best it's ever been. It's one of the smoothest it's ever been. Battery life is the lightest it's ever been. It's continually getting better. And this is what is powering a lot of devices out there. And here we are coming on to a new era of technology with these folding devices. and they're going to have the opportunity to really plant their flag here, especially if they could come up with a device that can just dominate both Huawei and Samsung. And I think they can do it. I think they can, put out a Pixel folding device that says this is what Android can be. Kind of like the Nexus One. I'm just itching to see kind of the Nexus One of the Pixel phones. I'm sorry, the Nexus One of the folding phones. That's what I'm looking to see. I'm waiting to see, hoping to see. Because if we can see that, man, how awesome. Because Google can put the software out there. And it's just that hardware. We got to get the hardware right. And I really hope they really go out there and find a strong hardware partner that's going to go all out, and they're willing to go all out, And I think a lot of the things that when it comes to hardware, it's all on Google. They design the hardware. The partners just tell comply with their demands. And if Google's telling them only put this in there, that's what the hardware partner is going to do. So it's really going to be on the decision makers for Google to, understand that they need to not slack on this hardware. Samsung putting out the hardware. They need to. Don't be coming out here with a Pixel Slate with half the gigabytes of RAM as what Samsung have. Or you will have a device that's lagging and not working like it needs to. Especially now we're seeing that Samsung is starting to come out with 12 gigabyte RAM chips now. So let's go, Google. Let's do this. Right? I'm looking forward to seeing where we can go here. So yeah, man, we got Android Q here. We're coming up on these folding phones. We're about a couple weeks away from that, where we will see the Samsung Fold and get a chance to start seeing reviews on that. And yeah, the more and more pictures I see of it, the more and more videos I see of it, the more excited I'm getting for this era, and I just can't wait to get going with it. And I hope this end up becoming a mainstay, and Google can actually come here in this market, and I really think they can dominate it and really set their foot here and really redefine tablets, because that's what we want to end, redefine smartphones, and yeah, show the industry how it's done. That's kind of what I'm hoping, but the reality, I'm almost thinking I'm not going to see that. I don't know who's making the decisions for Alphabet, and I wish I can, capture your ear and just tell them that you got people who are willing to go all in and buy all in, but you got to be all in. You got to put a device that looks like it's all in. Yeah, if they're willing to do that, yeah, they'll have people want to jump on board, because, man, for at least 2 years, man, they had the chance to be the top smartphones of the year. And what kept them from being there was just one thing, whether it be not enough RAM in the phones where we at this with the Pixel 3, or last year the display. They got to get it right this year. They got to get it right with these hardware. And if they're able to, man, with this new software out there and finding the hardware to go with it, we're talking about welcome back, Google. Welcome back, fans of the Nexus line. We finally gave you the phone that you've always been waiting for. Here we go. So this is PC747 with the neXup.net. Thank you again for joining me. And before I sign off, real quick, I want to announce first, those who participated in my giveaway. I was giving away a couple of because Amazon have a Amazon giveaway, and I decided to give away a couple of cases for the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, and several participants. As far as the first contest, the winners were Terry S. and Denny C. Amazon don't quite give me the last name, but that's fine. Those two won it on the first contest. As far as the second one that's going on right now, I currently have 3 going on. So the second one going on right now, looks like Sabrina A is the first winner of that. We still have time remaining for someone else to win that one, and we still have 2 more. So we have a total of 3 more cases available. So if you got a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus and you're looking for a chance to win a free case, head on to Amazon and check out my giveaway. Yeah, you may end up being a winner. And, to win it, you don't have to do anything. Just you watch a video, but my video pretty much just says, hey, I'm just giving away a case. I'm not forcing anybody to watch or listen to my blog or anything like that. I just want, people to enjoy it. And hopefully, if you feel led to swing by and check out my blog, check out my, my podcast, great. But if all you want is the case, great as well, man. Anyway, thank you again for all those who participated. Thank you for those who've been listening to my podcast, with checking out my blogs. I'm constantly looking to get better, continue to improve, week in and week out. And yeah, if you got ideas for topics or things to bring up, I definitely will be putting that on my list of things to talk about. But thank you again for joining me for another week of the neXup. I'm out.